Well, good afternoon. Today's coaching, we're going to do something we haven't done in a long time. We're going to talk about script work. It's probably the number one skill that anyone in a sales industry could possibly have, is understanding what to say and the breaking down of a conversation in a way that leads to something tangible. Or in our industry, that would mean a what? What do we want every conversation that we have to end in?
A lead?
A meeting.
A meeting, an appointment, yes. Or a valid lead, something that's going to lead to business. And so if we can have better conversations, does the odds of us landing that appointment increase? 100%, it does. So we're going to break down conversations today, and this comes off of an interesting seminar that I myself and Brad attended yesterday in Cincinnati. We went down for a commercial mastermind summit, and it was tactics to dominate commercial in a shifting market. Sounds pretty appealing, right? Sounds interesting. And from somebody who's in my shoes or Brad's shoes, that we're not very familiar with commercial real estate. We went into this expecting to learn how to execute a commercial deal. Like I'm thinking large industrial buildings or large business takeovers, etc. And it was not that, but in a good way. We talked about good old-fashioned lead generating and how to talk to commercial real estate owners to lead to potential appointments. And as we were talking about this, it dawned on me that commercial real estate, land, industrial, residential, it's all the same deal. It's all lead generation. And it's the conversations you're having with folks. So we're going to talk about two different conversations today. And I want y'all to participate in this because this is not about me talking for an hour. I need your help. So please feel free to jump in when I ask, okay? We're going to do some script work around cold calls. And we're going to talk a little bit about in-person conversations. Cool? At the end of the day, I want us to all be really, really clear about how we get business in this industry. Some of you have only been licensed for a very short time. I'm talking weeks. Some of you have been licensed for a while. And I feel like, because I see all new agents, I feel like a lot of agents get their license, and because Hondros or whatever school you go to, they don't teach you how to actually be a realtor and generate a business. We get our license and then we say, now what? I've arrived. I've got my license. Now, where's my business? And we forget, or we don't realize that this is an industry where you go get your business. And I'm pointing at you, and I want it to be a little uncomfortable, because at the end of the day, no one is going to give you business unless you go get your business. And a lot of us do that, and the majority of us are going to do that through the one best proven method for obtaining business, and that is having conversations with people. Very few people in this industry are successful based off internet websites alone or social media alone. The majority of us have to work for this business, and it happens through conversations. So my question to you all, and I don't need an answer on this, I want you to think real strategically and rhetorically in your own head. Answer this question. Am I going out and actively pursuing my own business? Are you going out and grabbing what's rightfully yours in this industry? Or did you get the piece of paper, the license, you attended orientation and onboarding, and now you're sitting there on your hands waiting, saying, all right, I got my license, just waiting for the business to come now? Because I have sad news for you. It's not going to come unless you start to do the things that matter. So, some of us think that if I just invest in internet leads, that business will come. That is by far our second concern in this industry. You go have conversations with people that you already know and get their business. If you don't know a lot of people, so I'm going to use a young person as an example, a really young person without a ton of life experience or work history. Odds are you know fewer people than somebody who's had years or a career before where you've run with a lot of different people, vendors, etc. You just know a lot of people. That young person is at a severe disadvantage in this industry because you just know fewer people. So someone tell me, since I'm having this conversation with you, somebody speak up and tell me, what is something that a person who doesn't know a lot of people can do to generate leads that would lead to business?
So they can go out.
Networking event.
Did you say cold call, Hugh?
Yes, I did.
Bingo. If I know nobody, but I'm willing to pick up the phone and have conversations with people that I don't know, do you think that is an action that will eventually lead to business? Yes. Okay, so if I know that, now all I need to do is have those conversations and get those phone numbers. Or if I do have that, if I do have a decent sized sphere, it would just make sense for me to reach out to those individuals that I already know and have what? Conversations. That can be either in person or on the phone. Let's see, on this phone call, we've got Aaron, Victor, Ancy, Daisy are all in bold right now. Aaron, since you're very responsive on here, I appreciate that. Would you mind telling me, is in bold, are they having you reach out to people as you have food in your mouth?
Yeah, sorry. So yes, there's usually a block of time, like half an hour, where we have care conversations. We just call people that we haven't talked to in a while and just see how they're doing. I was a little hesitant to do that myself yesterday, but I got on the phone with someone that I haven't spoken to for about 5 to 7 years, and she said she was actually looking to buy within the year, and that she would pass along all my information to her place of work. So me being afraid almost stopped me from calling her, and then that she could possibly lead me to some good leads. So yeah, we always have care conversations, or just pick up the phone and call somebody.
So Bold is teaching us, and Aaron, I'm going to come right back to you. So sorry, I'm surprising you, but this is great conversation. Bold teaches you to build your life by design. By what Aaron just said there, what he did, he said there's a 30-minute time block in Bold. Bold is only like a 5-hour class, once a week for 7 weeks. And they're clearing out a large chunk of that for you to generate leads. Why? Because they know that the majority of new agents or agents, period, will not do it for themselves. And I guarantee that a lot of us are struggling with time blocking in our own lives. If you're one of those people who struggles with time blocking, I don't know what else I can say. We have talked about time blocking so many times. If you're not willing to set aside time dedicated to working on your business, then you're just shooting yourself in the foot, and go ahead and go find another avenue to make money, because you're not going to make it in real estate. I have hope, though, and faith that a lot of you are working on that, will dedicate the time, otherwise known as a time block, that I have pre-planned into my week. I've got my time block, and I'm going to work on doing exactly what Aaron just did. Aaron, the first phone call, is it fair to say the first phone call is always the hardest?
Oh, for sure.
So
It turned out really well, though, so it made me want to call someone else. So I did right after.
Awesome. Yeah, you build momentum. And it's one of those things where getting out of your comfort zone, Aaron, helped you unlock the next level. If we're talking video games, like, we work so hard at this one level, and maybe we die a couple times because we just can't get the courage to beat that bad guy or whatever. The bad guy's all in our heads. And if you'll just get out of your own head, you unlock that next level. So Aaron got over himself, got over that little drunk monkey, is what they used to call it in Bold. The drunk monkey that says they're going to hang up on you, or they don't want to talk to you. That's not true at all. These people have you stored in their phones, and you have them stored in your phone for a reason. Get over it. You make the phone call, and voila, he unlocked Pandora's box of opportunity. That one person that he hadn't spoken to in 5 to 7 years, however long you said, turned into potential business this year, and turned into, maybe that person is a connector.
Yeah, one thing, one aha moment I had yesterday at Bold was a lady said, be afraid and do it anyway. So a lot of times I'm afraid to call somebody, but just be afraid and do it anyway.
What did that conversation look like? How did Bold teach you to approach that conversation?
Well, there was like 4 questions to go on to use as like an icebreaker. Asking about the lady I talked to on the phone. She had kids and we're friends on Facebook, so I just brought up her kids, and told her how big they were getting, and one thing just led to another. But just one thing to break the ice,
Anybody else who attended Bold? Ancy, if you can talk, I know you might be working. Daisy, can you share, like, what is Bold teaching you about that icebreaker? How do you approach the call?
Hi, Josh. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
So the one thing I learned is do a care call first and then talk about how they are doing, like the Ford method, about family, occupation, and other things, and then come up with hey, I'm in the real estate business or something, but talk about them, ask about how they are doing, how their family, how their other activities, kind of thing. Actually give us lead into a conversation and then actually help us to make a relationship with them first. That's
Great.
something I was like, I never thought about that, so it's something good. And then rather than you just call them, maybe you never called them for years, you don't know, and then instead of just talking them directly about all this real estate thing, maybe talk about their family and other things first, and then make a conversation. And then from then, the first step is that, and then build up from that.
You hit it so well, Yancy. Thanks for speaking up. We get in our heads about what example Aaron just shared. He hadn't talked to this person in a long time. I actually feel that that gives you a great starter to that conversation. You pick up the phone, they pick up the phone. You say, hey, Becky, I know it's been a long time since we talked, and I was just going through my phone book and saw your name, and I was like, I need to give her a call for some reason. So I just wanted to call and see how you're doing. It's gonna fill you up. I'm going to speak for you, Aaron, and say that you probably felt really good about reaching out to that person after you did. Is that fair to say?
Yep, I did.
Yeah, it fills you up because you're being a good human. You're just asking somebody else how they're doing. And to Nancy's point, you're being selfless. You're calling from a heart of caring. And the way the conversation will flow, real estate will come up. When you ask them, and we've had this guys, we've all had this call many times where I talk about the Ford method of lead generating. Okay. And I stole that directly from a class I went to years ago. And then they talk about it at Bold, and I've continued to hear it. And it's a successful small talk or intro call formula that I want you all to steal shamelessly. And just use it in your daily as well. Like, so if I was to walk up to somebody or see somebody on the street that I hadn't seen in a while, my conversation is going to be the exact same. Hey, oh my gosh, I haven't seen you in forever. How's the family doing? Right? Isn't our common inclination just to start with family because we all have one? And we want to know how people are doing, how their families are doing. It's a common bond that everyone has. We all have family. And most of us, unless you're retired or you're too young to work, have an occupation. And so once you ask that question about how's the job doing, they're going to reimburse you with that same question. And at that point, if you don't bring up real estate, you've just completely missed your on-ramp. And what are you even doing? So I wrote it in the chat for anyone who's newer. Ford, family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. You don't have to go to Bold now. I just saved you some money and time to know that small talk method. However, the reason that I encourage y'all to go to, and this is not an advertisement for Bold. I've done Bold 4 times, and there's a reason I keep doing it. It's not because I get paid to talk about Bold. I get $0. In fact, I pay to go to Bold. Why? Because I need the accountability. Just like I try to hold us accountable to getting to the next level, unlocking that next level like Aaron just did. Bold simply taught me to set time and do the uncomfortable thing. Get out of your own head and do the work. Thank you for your participation, Aaron. I appreciate you.
Sure.
I want to talk next about, okay, so what happens if I'm cold calling people? Number one, the question is going to come up, how do I cold call people? Where do I get phone numbers? There are resources that you can get. You typically have to pay for them. The one resource that I've used in the past, my very first year I paid for this, was a power dialer. It was called Mojo. Mojo, M-O-J-O. I'll put it in the chat. Mojo is a power dialer. It costs $99 a month and is the single best way that I've found to get a lot of real estate conversations in a short amount of time. We've had this conversation before. If you're not willing to do what the other 99% of agents are not doing, then you'll continue to do the business that you're currently doing. I'm going to assume that you're all on this call because you want to learn how to build a really good business. And what you're doing right now is probably not going to work. And so you got to change. So power dialer is a great avenue. Now, with that $99, there is another option. You can either purchase a FSBO lookup package, which I don't recommend. It's like it's either $50 or $100. You can also do expired. You can have them look up expired phone numbers. Expired, if you recall our coaching a couple weeks ago, we talked about expired listings. That's simply a listing that has gone past its contractual agreement and is now a dead listing. It's not active, but that person had raised their hand before and said, I want to sell my house, and it just didn't sell. So in theory, Mojo has this package that'll look up those phone numbers. I've tried that and the phone numbers are not accurate. So don't do that. Okay. The one thing you should do is pay for the geographic search, otherwise known as neighborhood search. Why do you want this? Because you want a list of phone numbers to cold call. Cold calling is doing the thing that the other 99% of people aren't doing. I have found, this is my dirty little secret, I guess. I thought it was easier to cold call than it was to call my own people that I knew. Why? Because my drunk monkey, my stupid brain, was scared of calling the people that I knew and asking them for something, which was business. However, every single time that I've done that, called the people that I already know and asked for business, they come through for me. Just like Aaron did. It led to potential business. If you're not going to be strong enough to do that, you're not going to find as much success as you could. So take what I'm about to share with you about cold calling and realize that that should come second to what you should be doing, which is just going through your Rolodex on your phone, all the people that are already in here, and just ruthlessly calling those individuals. And do what Aaron and Nancy just talked about. Hey, it's Josh. It's been so long since we talked. Or, hey, thanks for hanging out last week. It doesn't matter. Just introduce yourself. It's Josh. Or it's Aaron, or it's you. It's Trisha. It's been a while, or we just saw each other. I just wanted to catch up again. And then let the conversation flow. You have a script, and the script is very simple. It's ask the question, how's the family? And then shut up and actually listen. And then you can riff off of that. If they say, oh, Timmy's not doing so good. Oh no, what's going on with Timmy? Or Timmy's going to college. Oh my gosh, what's he going to major in? Can y'all have that conversation? Absolutely. Anyone can have that conversation. But it's with somebody that you already know. And then when you ask them inevitably what they're doing for work these days or how work is, they'll ask you, and then you jump in. Well, actually, I'm in real estate. Do you know of any? And then you can even make it sound like a joke, like, yeah, actually, do you know of anyone looking to buy or sell right now? And then kind of awkwardly pause, let them answer. All right, so first step when lead generating and starting this business is calling people that you know. If I have to say it again to y'all, then y'all are in the wrong industry. Second step though, is if you don't know a ton of people and you need to have real estate conversations, which you all do, then go ahead and cold call. There's this thing called a TCPA that I'm supposed to talk about. Am I too loud on this line? Okay. All right, I got 5 minutes. I just learned that the ALC meeting is on here in 5 minutes. We're going to talk really quickly about script work for cold calls. If the person is on the do not call list, I'm supposed to tell you not to call them, okay? I'm supposed to tell you that. Make the call about them first. I'm going to jump into this really quickly. And then I'm probably gonna have to send out notes individually after this. Anyone who's on this call physically will get my notes sent directly to you via text. Anyone who sees this recording, you need to reach out on your own because you didn't make time for me. It starts with an interest generator. There's 3 quality intros on a cold call. It needs to be time sensitive, meaning like what I'm calling you about is time sensitive as of like today. It needs to be newsworthy or related to them. And then number 3, they are at the center of the conversation. We do not use we do not use I, me. We use you because we want the phone call to not be a hang up immediately. If I'm calling somebody and it's about me, why does it matter to them, right? So cold calling, never ask them how they're doing. Never ask them how they're doing. Jump right into it. If you get a phone call from somebody and they say, hey, how are you today? You're just like, cut to it. What do you want? Why are you calling me? Right? So don't ask people how they're doing. Here's how the conversation starts. Hi, this is Josh with Keller Williams. Did you know that a home on your street just closed yesterday for $30,000 over asking price and it sold in 3 days for cash? I'm calling you to see if you might be interested in selling your home soon. Okay, so I grabbed their interest. So this is called an interest generator. Have an interest generator, have a reason for calling. So if you have never sold a house, look up market stats on the MLS. Pull up recently closed homes. Pull up homes that are highlights for their area. Because the majority of people that you're going to be calling are homeowners, right? The reason we cold call is to try to find listings or to try to find buyers for our listings. If we have no listings, then we're calling for the one reason, to find listings. So starts with energy. I recommend standing for these calls if you can. Our office that I'm sitting in right now, our productivity coaching office, has these sweet new desks. They're stand-up desks, but they also lower to be seating. They're awesome. They're electric. They're sweet. Come in here. Use the stand-up desk if you need to. Standing up opens your diaphragm and you have more energy. It sounds like you have more energy. You want to approach these phone calls with a little bit of energy and positive energy. If you pick up the phone and say, hey, this is Josh Keller Williams, click, right? Hey, this is Josh with Keller Williams. That sounds a little bit better. Hey, this is Josh Keller Williams. That sounds great. High energy. They're going to stay on the phone. Hi, this is Josh Keller Williams. How are you today? Click. That's what Brad and I learned yesterday. And it's dawned on me too. Like, never ask them how they're doing because they don't want to answer. They don't know you. So other keys here. Create interest first. So that the way that I just asked you guys the question, I didn't start out for the question. Instead, I offered a tidbit of information that was imperative to them. It was time bound, right? Hey, did you know that a home on your street just closed yesterday for $30,000 over asking price and it sold in 3 days? Okay. Now they're aware of some really pertinent information. You gave them value. Now you come in for the question. At what point do you think that you might consider selling your home? The objective here is to lead to a conversation that leads to an appointment. Have your questions roadmapped, meaning if you're going to come with a script, have possible answers that they might come up with, and then have follow-up questions to those. My heart hurts right now because we're cut short. I have to jump off of here because apparently there's an ALC meeting. I apologize. I will send you my notes to those of you who are on this call. Thank you for joining. At the end of the day, guys, don't let anybody get in your way of being successful in this industry. You are your own keeper of your success. Make phone calls, call the people you know first. Just do it. Rip the Band-Aid off and just do it. Care calls if you need to, or just bluntly ask them, say, hey, I'm going to call you once a year and I'm going to ask you who you know that needs to buy, sell, or invest in real estate. This is that call. You'll find that more often than not, people will be receptive to that phone call. If you don't want to do that, then go cold call, but you have to make way more cold calls than you have to make care calls. Sorry to end this early, guys. I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Bye.